Hello and welcome back to the Beatdown Bandits podcast. I am Colin and this is season 3, episode 7 of the Beatdown Bandits podcast. I legit had to write it down. I can't. I could tell myself the episode number 100 times. I still have to like glance just to make sure I'm saying it right. Anyway, we're gonna move on from my struggles with naming my my podcast and the episode numbers. I'm just so bad at it. Anyway. So today's podcast is kind of things I'm excited about. And this might be like a reoccurring podcast. This also might be like a really good a guest appearance. So if you have any interest in being a guest on the podcast, my socials are below. You're more than welcome to do that. I've done a couple interviews now, so feel free to check those out. But yeah, if you have interest, just let me know. Comment on this video, whatever. It doesn't matter, you know, your size or whatever. It doesn't matter to me. So yeah, I'd love to have just more and diverse group of people to get on here to discuss anything and everything. Most likely video games, but it doesn't have to be. Anyway, so today I want to discuss like 5 things that I'm excited about in the realm of video games. So like I said, this has potential to repeat into other and like future podcasts as like 5 things I'm excited about in such and such topic or whatever. So yeah, so we're going to discuss 5 video game things or 5 video game related things today. Now, a couple of these things I have discussed in like previous podcasts, but it may have been like forever ago. So we're just going to kind of rehash some things, and maybe even some like updated news since that particular podcast may have come out. So let's go ahead and jump into things, shall we? So number 1, the first thing that I'm excited about right now, as of today, is Sea of Thieves. So I played this. I've been playing this for years, and I would kind of like stop playing it for like 4, 5, 6 months, and then jump back into it randomly just for fun, and then stop again. And you know what? It's like a really good like fallback game when you just want to like just chill, because like there's just no pressure in Sea of Thieves. You know, the worst thing that can really happen is you get a whole bunch of treasure on your on your ship, and you've been going around for hours collecting a lot of things, and some group comes along and sinks you and takes all your stuff. Like that's the most frustrating thing about Sea of Thieves. But there's only 6 people in a lobby, so really you can kind of do your own thing, and probably 75% of people don't even bother with it. They just don't engage in like a lot of PvP. I'm not that way either way, and like if I played Sea of Thieves like exclusively, I would probably do it a little bit more. I mean, I've definitely watched a lot of people who are like, oh yeah, that's the easiest way to make money, is you just hunt down other ships and take all the crap that they've collected and saves yourself a lot of work, right? It's a pirate game. So I totally have no problem with people coming and trying to sink other ships, sinking me, whatever. It's just the way that pirate games work, right? So so all's good there, but it's just, you know, like the water and the ocean, it's just a really chill game. You can kind of make your own adventure type of thing in it, and so it's super fun, super chill, super laid back. So it's like, for me, it's like a perfect thing to like end the night of gaming on, of like if I'm playing a bunch of like intense games of, you know, Sea of D, or excuse me, of like Apex or something like that. It's really nice to jump off and play the last like 2 hours or something of a night in Sea of Thieves, where it's a little more laid back and chill and less pressure, right? And so it's super fun to be able to just go and collect things and do little adventures and find buried treasure and things like that. It's just super fun, and I've been super excited about playing it. So like when I was trying to think of like this list or whatever of like what are the 5 things I'm excited about, this was the first one that came to mind. Is I've just been having so much fun with Sea of Thieves, and it's just, I don't know. I mean, there's not like a ton of content in it. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can do and a lot of different missions and tales and voyages and stuff that you can go on and do. But it's not like loaded with content. But yeah, it's just fun to honestly just sail from island to island to island. It's just a good time. So yeah, that was here right now, and in February, March of of uh of 2022. It's been super chill. Also, can you guys see Mirage back here? Got a little Mirage figure. They had Bloodhound and Pathfinder, and I was debating about which one. I don't play a whole lot of Bloodhound or Pathfinder. I used to, I still do play a decent amount, but not as much Mirage. But I used to play a ton of Mirage. First Legend I got 1,000 kills on, but uh, maybe even like my first 2K badge, 2,000. I think it was definitely my first 2,500 damage game was Mirage. But anyway, yeah, I found him. But the Pathfinder had the boxing gloves, but he doesn't have an heirloom with him. But Bloodhounds and Pathfinders had their heirlooms. I'm like, oh, it's so tempting to get. So I was looking at Mirage, like, why doesn't Mirage have an heirloom? Like, it's missed opportunity. Anyway, I was like, I think I had Pathfinder in my hands, but then I'm like, no, I'll get old Mirage boy here. So there you go. All right, so moving on from Sea of Thieves, let's go number 2. The second thing that I'm excited about right now, it is Apex, and specifically with Apex is like meta shifts in Apex. Not that like everything was getting super stale. I mean it was, but not. It's hard to explain, but like I feel like the last handful of legends that have been released have really made some changes to the meta or whatever. And I don't do a whole lot of ranked, and obviously I don't play competition or whatever. I'm nowhere near that type of level, but or competitive rather. So yeah, I'm nowhere near like those type of levels. And honestly, like even when I do play ranked, I mean, I could get to plat, and if I had enough patience, I could probably get to diamond, but I just don't have that type of patience. I just get so bored, and especially like I play when I'm doing ranked and I do play with randoms, like they're just gonna die instantly because people make stupid decisions, and I don't want to spend all game ratting or like a whole evening just ratting because I don't want to fight 1v3s in ranked lobbies. So that's really the frustrating aspect of it. But the meta shifts currently, like I feel like are really good for the game. And I enjoy watching the ALGS. Like I've really enjoyed watching that. Like I've watched like the Poland tournament from the first year. I've even watched that a couple times, and those are really fun to watch. And I enjoy watching ALGS stuff now. That's been really fun to watch over the last couple of years, even with COVID, where everything obviously is remote. Like that's a little less fun, but it's still entertaining to watch. And I have my like favorite, my favorite pros or whatever that I enjoy watching, or my favorite teams that are super cool to watch. Great personality type of people. So. And then I have like the teams that I just root against. I'm not going to name names, but Cloud9. So so the meta shifts in Apex have been super exciting to see. Like the Valk, right? Like when Valk started getting introduced into comp and like ALGS stuff, like that was so entertaining to watch. Like redeploys like kind of late in the game. Like where the hell is this team going to land when you're in round 4 and there are 16 teams remaining type of stuff? Like where do you expect to land? And so kudos to all, like every single team in like ALGS, like being able to land those Valks into crazy flipping spots where there's like 7 angles that can see them, but they have like the one little tiny little corner where they can they can find those things. So somehow they're able to like kind of manage. And so I guess you just have to know every inch of the map and every single aspect of that. But they play that for a living, and when they're playing 8, 9, 10 hours a day, I guess that makes it a big change. I play about 6 hours a week of Apex, so that just is not my level. So yeah, more things with that, and I like that it's changed also, right? Like the beginning of Apex competitive used to it was Wraith, Pathfinder, and Watson, right? Like that was it. You needed somebody to scan a beacon, you needed somebody to move you, and you needed Watson to set you up in your location that you were going to hold for the end game, right? And also prevent any nades from coming in or whatever. So because that's when like nades were I almost used the term exploding, right? But nades became, much more vital. People figured that out real quick. So then Watson kind of exploded a little bit and became really popular, but obviously she's died off since about season 2. But we've seen Octanes and Watsons and Cryptos and Bloodhounds, Pathfinders, etc., all just kind of come and go, whatever. But I'm also kind of excited about like that Ash has come in, and Octane took away some of the rates, and now Ash is kind of taking away some of the rates. So that's kind of interesting. She can kind of move things a little bit faster, and the fact that she also comes out of that animation, can hold a gun while coming out of that, is super, I think, super big on the meta. So I would expect more and more Ashes, which we've seen. Sorry, I have like an eyelash coming down into my eye, but we have seen Ashes come onto the scene a little bit more. And then Fuse. So like Fuse is like on my wish list of like a legend that I wish I was like really, really good at. Half the time, like I don't carry that many nades. Like let's just say I'm playing Mirage, okay, for the sake of whatever. So I'm playing Mirage. Normally, like I try to have like at least one nade, and then I use it in that first fight, and that's all I have. Or sometimes I forget. For some reason with Fuse, like I will carry 6, 8. I've had as many as like 10, 12 nades on me, because like, oh man, like that first fight, I'm just gonna spam this poor soul, and I forget, or like I somehow randomly just get beamed like super insanely fast. And it's frustrating. Like I feel like with Fuse, like I should be able to bust out 3,000 damage games every single time. I can't. I'm really bad at Apex Legends. And I get frustrated with myself because it's like, man, like how did I lose this? I should not be losing this many fights. And then like when I started like actually embracing Fuse, like I got really frustrated too, because like I'm sitting here spamming his knuckle clusters or nades or whatever and his ultimate, and I'm getting games with like 1,400 damage, 1,800 damage constantly. But then like game's over and I'm like, I have 2 kills or 1 kill. Like I've legit had like no kills and 1,800 damage with Fuse. Like, you know how frustrating that is to have 1,800 damage with no kills? Like that's really, I would much rather almost have like 8 kills with 700 damage. I would almost rather be that guy, because those stats at least count, right? So anyway, that's just kind of my thought on Fuse. I get really frustrated with him, but he's got so much potential. And I watch a dude right now, his videos, and I watch him a little bit on Twitch. Matchin, it's match 1 in. For those of you who don't know, look the dude up. He was for a brief period of time like the #1 crypto. Him and Il Spooky were competing for the #1 crypto spot. Il Spooky had it for a long time. I think got sick. I think he had diabetes, and then Matchin ended up taking over. But yeah, back whatever this was, maybe season 7-ish or so, he was probably like the #1 crypto player in the world. But he's a super cool dude. I love watching his content, and he's really passionate about Fuse. And so he's kind of taken that reign, and he's now going to be competing here in ALGS. So look out for him and his friends. I don't know what their team name is, but keep an eye out for that Fuse player, because that's going to be him. So Matchin, keep an eye out. Dude is legit. Dude makes a lot of videos where he's in pred lobbies, and basically everybody calls him out, think he's a cheater or whatever. They're making fun of him because I don't know what the hell's a Fuse doing in a pred lobby. Dude's wrecking them. So look out for him. And then obviously, I think Mad Maggie. So let's talk Mad Maggie for a second. She's obviously going to change some things, I think, and I don't think she's going to like wreck the Gibraltar meta. But I think before Gibraltar gets knocked out, Gibraltar is going to have to be nerfed. I don't think that's going to happen because Gibraltar is not a campy person. He just helps move people. And there's so many matches where you do have to go through like big open areas where Gibraltar is just so important, right? So I don't think they're ever going to touch Gibraltar in any way like that. But I think adding Mad Maggie in, it does make a little change, or maybe make some people think maybe Gibraltar's not the greatest pick for us right now. So I would be curious if Gibraltar's pick percentage drops a smidge. We've also seen Bangalore a couple times. Now I know like Shiv is going away from Bangalore. She just doesn't quite add as much like team impact. So I know she's like Shiv, who is obviously, you know, the one Bangalore you don't want to run into because you will die. You know, he obviously understands that Bangalore doesn't offer as much for like the team aspect. So him going away, but obviously, you know, Solo Q Goats made a huge impact on the EU, and having him in there. Plus, he's, you know, insanely aggro. So having an insanely aggro player added into the ALGS who plays a non-meta legend made it almost like that. And I think 2 or 3 other people tried Bangalore a little bit, but it didn't end up. And then Loba was the other one who added some changes, I think mostly in the EU, but was really smart play. And I think I saw somebody talking about it. I can't remember if it was Rain Day or who, but basically any team that had a Loba in the ALGS that played Loba did win at least one match. And I think it was like maybe 2 teams that were rocking Loba. They just found out like it was pretty vital to have that Loba at the end to grab all the heals and the ammo and everything like right at the end, or find that Kraber that was in a death box that nobody can get to. And you can get all the shield swaps you want. So that Loba became super vital in the ALGS. So, but that was cool. But anyway, jumping back to Mad Maggie, I don't know if we'll see Mad Maggie in the upcoming ALGS, but it may just be too early. I could see a team or two maybe trying to give her a shot and seeing what happens. But I think she is gonna change the meta, maybe not this season, but next season in competitive stuff, and she's already doing it in ranks. I think she's so anti-campy and ratty, where in higher level ranked plays where there is going to be some rats or whatever, teams just trying to survive to a top 5. I think Maggie changes that quite a bit. So anyway, let's move on to number 3. Let me take a drink of my coffee and then we'll move on to number 3. So number 3, third thing I'm excited about right now is GTA 6 being announced. Right, so it was announced this month. I'm recording this in February. It's not going to be out until March. This particular podcast, but GTA 6 was announced officially that it's well underway. Was the terminology that was used by like Rockstar's Twitter account or whatever. That it is well underway. As of February of 2020, which means they're probably they've probably hired a crap ton of people for it, and also means they probably have hired like a lot of their like main cast or whatever, probably started legit have their storylines completed, things like that. So that's really good to know. Or really good to notice. Now I did a podcast on GTA 6 back in June of 2020. So it was like a GTA 6 rumors and leaks information that was released. So that was June 6th of 2020. That was season 1, episode 8 of the podcast. That was me, Matt, and Steven. Sorry, I just bumped my desk and it shook. But we kind of discussed like the leaks that were coming out at that point. And then we kind of discussed some other rumors that we may have heard. And then we also discussed some like wish list things. So if you want to go back and listen to that, I'm not going to like rehash a lot of that stuff, but it's my impression that like GTA 6 is going to be very Miami based, but a lot more modern rather than like the Vice City thing. And I've seen some like really cool logos that have been made where like, the GTA uses like the Roman numerals for their numbers or whatever. So like, GTA 5 is, GTA V, right? Like the Roman numeral 5. And so for 6, it's VI, which is the first two letters of Vice City. So like a really cool logo I saw was like GTA 6, where the V and the I were obviously predominant Roman numeral, different color type things. And it was really unique. It was very like 80s style, but I kind of like that one. It made a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm definitely excited. Definitely excited for it. GTA 5 was by far like the most played game for me of all time. I've got a lot of flipping hours now. I think I'm probably up to like 100 and I don't know, 106 days played of GTA, which is a lot of hours. So I'm literally grabbing a calculator right now because that's a really complicated math. 106 days times 24 hours is 2,544 hours played in GTA 5. So that's a lot of hours. I think I did a video at some point on GTA 5. Yeah, I definitely did. It was probably like season 1, episode 3 or 4. I did a GTA 5 video, and I think I discussed those stats and kind of went through some of those. So that would have been back in like May or April of 2020, probably somewhere in that time frame. That I would have done that video. And I think I had 104 days played by that point. So I've definitely slowed down. I mean, the content slowed down in GTA. So it's just, not quite as fun as it used to be, 5, 6, 7 years ago, but it's still a hell of a lot of fun in that game. So so definitely excited for GTA 6 to come out. And something I did read was like some of their like financials or whatever, and like they have to budget reasons or whatever, have to like put things out there. I'm not sure how that works, but basically like a Rockstar and Take-Two Interactive had to basically publish their marketing dollars kind of going forward. And they have currently $89 million scheduled to be used by marketing from April of 2023 until March of 2024. So that's end of March. So for a 12-month period, during that time frame, they're scheduled to use $89 million in marketing, which is kind of bizarre. One, Rockstar doesn't need a whole lot of money for marketing. They probably just don't, but they like to spend it because GTA 5 made a crap ton of money for them, right? So why not spend more? I mean, they've got billions of dollars, literal billions of dollars to spend. So spending $89 million in marketing when they're going to make another $1 billion in profit on GTA 6 is chump change. So they could easily spend $1 million in marketing and make almost just as much, but why the hell not, right? So which really kind of in the business sense, thinking about that. So why are they going to spend $89 million in marketing from April 2023 until March of 2024? Which kind of leads me to think like, okay, so you want to drop a whole bunch of trailers, get music rights. You want to drop all this crap from that time frame until March of 24. March 2024. So that kind of leads me to leave like a September-ish time frame. They want to release September of 2023. They want to release GTA 6. Now, if they're not ready, they're not ready. It very easily could be bumped a full year, but that's what their current plan is. So, that would be my today prediction would be GTA 6 release date would be September of 2023. That would be my today's prediction. That way, from April to September, they can pump out all that crap. And then from the release date, October through April, they've got all this other money. They can continue to release things. They can continue to put out trailers and videos and spend marketing money on whatever they want to continue the growth of that game for the first 6 months, right? And then obviously, if they follow the same path that they did with GTA 5, and they have GTA Online 2.0 or GTA Online 6 come out, I would imagine that's going to be a little later. So they're probably going to release the game, the story mode, things like that, and then a month or two later have the online come out, just so they can kind of prep for it. And so that would be my expectation. All right. So anyway, number 3 was GTA 6. Super excited for it. Hopefully September 23. That is my guess. All right. Number 4, related, and I did do a little video on this too about a year ago, was college football games coming back. So it doesn't look like we're kind of looking until like summer of 23. I was kind of hoping for one like this fall, for have one to come out of summer 2022, but it seems like it's going to be summer 23. I'm pretty sure that's official. But obviously things got, they were talking about it even before the whole name, image, and likeness thing in college football. Like that was kind of already being discussed of like, okay, well, we can just pay the universities the rights and then just totally randomize the roster. So, your quarterback could be 5'3" and weigh 312 pounds and be number 87. And then, just rely on people to customize the rosters wherever, however the heck they want, his name be, QB1, right? And, the NCAA football games in the past did that because there was no name, image, and likeness deal. So they couldn't use official names, but the rosters were obviously pretty dang spot on. The heights and weights and the jersey numbers and the looks were how the players looked. The hometowns were the same, things like that. So obviously they were copying the players, and thus the whatever the lawsuit was, I think it was like $60 million that EA had to pay to players that they had used. Which obviously EA's got plenty of money, so that's not really a problem. But so they had to pay that. But now I think with the name, image, and likeness deal, they could very easily, which bodes well for people who are fan of the game, is they can easily just pay the players that they're going to put in the game. Say they just have a blanket deal, right? Like every single player that we're going to put in our game, and the kids are going to want it, right? And it's like, yes, I definitely want to be in that game because like I want to, I'm a 19-year-old kid. Of course I want to be in a video game and have my name in a college football game. Hell yeah, it'd be awesome. We pay them all like, $1,000 or $10,000, however much whatever their budget is for that. Pay them. You're gonna have people be like, well, I'm a big time name. I want $1 million, and they're like, we're just gonna leave you out. And instead of having your name on there, your name is now going to be, your position and a jersey number that's not yours. And you can just easily leave people who don't agree to it out of the game. It's not that complicated. And then just rely on people to make those players by their own in the game. So anyway, I'm pumped. I think the name, image, and likeness deal is probably pretty good for college football. And it also screws over the NCAA, which is great. So I think, the more you screw over the NCAA, the better. They need to be out of college sports. So looking forward to today that actually officially kind of happens. But yeah, the college football return, super excited for. So I am pumped. And then finally, the last thing, I had a couple options that I was going to put in here, but my number 5 is basically new styles of content creation. So this kind of really hit home with a video from, I can't remember if it was Jenks or Zeus. This was an Apex video. I want to say it was Zeus's video where Zeus talked about with Jenks. He was playing with Jenks, and they were talking about how the content is so boring right now because everybody's videos are like them dropping 18 kill game and 5,000 damage, and it's like, how many of those can you like legit watch, right? And it gets boring. And like I used to enjoy watching like the highlight videos, like the top plays of the day and all those. Like they're so boring. There's so many like really good players out there, and even like average players, right? Like let's say average or even below average players. Like every once in a while, like you can hit a random Kraber shot, or every once in a while you can have a crazy nade that kills a full squad. Everybody has done that stuff, and so it's kind of boring to watch 100%. So I kind of definitely would prefer to watch videos of people who are less skilled, or making different styles of content or different types of challenges, right? Like that's so much more entertaining. I would much rather watch the personalities, even skilled or not skilled. I would much rather watch the person play if they have like a legit good, funny, humorous, wholesome personality. Those guys are so much more entertaining to watch. And there's so many people out there, and there's just not a lot of those guys just don't get enough recognition. Some do, some don't. Some people have been able to explode really good, and it's like, oh, that's the one person. And so like a good example, like so Beanbag, right? Like so Beanbag makes some like goofy Apex videos, and a lot of people enjoy it or laugh or whatever, but then they kind of move on. And I had been doing it. Beanbag's only been around for a year, and I've been trying ridiculous things from all sorts of different video games for years and years and years, doing pranks and stuff like that. I mean, if you dig really far back, I mean, I've been doing pranks in some of my old videos since like 2015, 2014, 2015, doing ridiculously dumb things like that. And so I made a video once where I got a short. I put it on to like Reddit or whatever, and it got like really good feedback and reviews, and everybody loved it. But then everybody's like, I think I had one or two people are like, "Oh my God, you're just trying to copy Beanbag." And I was like, well, first of all, like I've been doing this a hell of a lot longer than Beanbag, like about 5 years longer than Beanbag was. And he I think he was like posting his stuff onto Reddit. Now he's got a great personality. There's no shade being thrown at Beanbag here whatsoever. I love his videos. They're so good. He edits them really good. It's good quality. It's wholesome. It's funny. I love it. So all I'm saying is like that content is really good, and a lot of people don't like it. They would much rather watch goated people. They'd much rather watch like people like Shiv or Hal or whoever, and I guess just try to watch like really good plays. But then 99.9% of people are just never going to be there. You're watching the top 1% of guys that you're just not that skill level. You're not that guy, right? So I mean, I love watching like Timmy and those guys are really good, but I'm never going to be that skilled, and trying to mimic that stuff is impossible. Like they virtually look like they're cheating, and most people are not that way. So anyway, shout out to like the small creators that are doing different things and challenges and fun stuff. But jumping back to what I first talked about with this is Zeus and Jenks were talking about that, and like they wish there were more of those guys out there, and they really need to get noticed, and that's the content that Apex needs to go to. And get away from like the crazy 20 bombs and all that stuff. Like it's great, but if I look up 20 bombs in Apex on YouTube, there is 1,000 of them. I mean, there's a lot more than that, but there's 1,000 different content creators who are putting those out on the regular. I mean, you look at like somebody like Kobe, that dude was putting out 20 bomb videos every day from like season 0 to season 2 or 3. Every day was putting out 20 bomb videos. Like I watched probably a third of them, because it was insane. But 20 bomb videos every day, that was like his promise. Like, here's my new 20 bomb video today. Like, oh my God, man, I'm struggling to get 5 kills. And dudes out here dropping 20 bombs every day with Lifeline. I mean, that was back when she had her fast heals, but like, holy crap, that stuff is insane. So anyway, that's it for me. But again, like, support the small creators out there, the creators who are trying to do the small things. You've seen them featured on my channel before. Support those guys, the Cameos of the world and the Lord Spinks of the world, the guys trying different content. And much love to those guys who, are grinding and doing different things, and in my opinion, making much better content than a 20 bomb and a highlight video. So again, shout out to those guys. And yeah, so that is it for me today. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching or listening to today's podcast. If you enjoyed the whole like top 5 kind of things I'm interested in list, let me know. And I can kind of bring some of these back with some different topics or whatever. And as mentioned earlier in the podcast, if you guys do have any interest in joining the podcast, being interviewed, or just want to discuss some topic or whatever, kind of jump in and let me know. Give me a comment, shout me out on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. My Twitter is just Go Buckeye Gaming, G0 BUCKI GAMING. It's all below. Just shout me out. All right, guys. Thanks. Later.